this is what we're really all here for. This game, in the grand scheme of things, didn't mean much of anything for the 49ers. Now, Moody missing the kicks makes it interesting and gives us a talking point and certainly something to be concerned about, right? But overall, they're still the number one seed. They're going to be hosting playoff games throughout the NFC, assuming that they make it through and into the Super Bowl and what have you. But the question is who are they going to play? And now we've got a full picture of what this thing is going to look like. So let's give it a breakdown. The 49ers are the number one seed. Dallas is the number 2 seed. They will have home field advantage the first 2 rounds, assuming that they win. You've got Detroit, the number 3 seed. You've got Tampa Bay, the number 4 seed. The number 5 seed is the Eagles. The 6th seed is the Rams, and the 7th seed is the Green Bay Packers. So let's go round 1. And I just want to see what you think this bracket is going to look like overall. So round 1, you've got Cowboys versus Packers in Dallas. Who do you have winning that game? I believe Green Bay beat them earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think 31-28 in overtime, maybe. But I think that might have been in Green Bay as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Rich Madrid would be happy about that. My mother-in-law grew up a block away from Lambeau. I got a bunch of friends locally who are Packers fans. You see that a lot in Minnesota. Jordan Love is playing like a guy that, if Jordan Love were a free agent, this guy would get he's going to get a big contract. Jordan Love is playing lights out. And today his receivers helped him out to a degree, but didn't help him out. All I'll say is this. I respect the Dallas Cowboys immensely. They're a very talented team. This Packers defense under Joe Barry has been abysmal in the latter half of the season. I will say this, though. If Jordan Love can rein in his nerves and just play like he's been playing, that game is going to be a lot closer than people think. Now, I'm not going to make any bold predictions. I do think the Cowboys end up prevailing. I do. I also can see the Packers finding a way to win that game. And I think it's going to boil down to what their secondary does. I think the Cowboys' weapons right now are too much. Even in Washington today, they kind of let things hang around for a while, kind of like the Niners did last week, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, things started to separate. So my prediction is, yes, Cowboys do win that game against the Packers. But I do think that it's going to be a game that comes down to the fourth quarter.
Well, and I think they should be getting Watson back next week. He was close to returning this week, so that'll be a boost in the arm for them and the receiving core. Young receiving core, actually really 4 guys that are pretty decent over there. Not great, but decent.
It's really phenomenal what Love's doing. We're talking about Dontavian Wicks as a rookie. Bo Melton. I don't even know if Bo Melton got drafted. He was a guy I liked as a mid-round guy, but was, I think, UDFA. Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and then you got 2 rookie tight ends, Musgrave and Kraft. And then you got Christian Watson, who's been hurt, who's a second-year player. I don't know if there's ever been honestly, go to Elias Sports Data. Has there ever been a team that's fielded a unit where you have only one outside of your running backs guy who's not a rookie, and that guy's a second-year player at receiver and tight end that get regular snaps? That to me is amazing. What Jordan Love's been able to do with that unit. They're talented, but they're not MVP caliber receivers. They're not big time second contract type of guys, right? So yeah, is that going to put them behind the 8 ball a little bit? Sure. But I'll say this, man. Jordan Love's got a cannon, and he's a gamer. That throw last week where he was basically, it wasn't even off his back foot. Both feet were in the air. Dude whips a missile 45 yards down the field on a thread. He's got some things that just ain't human. And I'll say this. If Dak Prescott, who has obviously played well this year, becomes playoff Dak, and things start to go off the rails a little bit, I just see this game being a game that's tight through most of the second half. I think the Cowboys will prevail, but yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys being at home, I'm going to lean towards them. I think they're a pretty dang good home team, much different at home than they have been on the road. And I think that's a big deal. If this was in Green Bay, I would probably pick Green Bay because it's that close to me. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say this though, like Niners fans travel. I don't know if there's a fan base outside the Packers travel and playoff tickets. I'm a season ticket holder for the Niners. I'm Jesse. I go in the NFC Championship game. We make it that far, right? Like I only sell to friends and Niners fans. But most people, they just go to Ticketmaster and get the highest bid and pay the fees, right? Dallas, we saw what happened a couple years back when the Niners basically dominated that stadium. There will be a lot of Packers fans there next weekend. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, they do travel very, very well. So I agree with that. And I want to clear something up going on in the chat. Showtime says that Darnold was better than Lance, and no credible reporter said otherwise. And I disagree. You look at Lombardi said it was Lance's best camp. You look at Haberman said that there was no separation, that they were roughly the same. Larry said that they were roughly the same. So, whether you want to say one was better, it wasn't clear, right? Like it wasn't clear enough to be like, oh, Sam deserved to be here and Lance didn't. It was a decision that the 49ers made. Ultimately, did they choose right? Whatever. I mean, who cares? But don't, wasn't the only one that was at camp saying it. Eric Crocker, is he credible? He said the same thing.
Bro, credible reporters, I'll just say like credible, you can have a fill in the blank, credible teachers, credible reporters. You know what that means? People that agree with you, right?
Exactly. That's credible.
People that confirm your priors. And Jesse will tell you, Jesse and I are friends. We don't always see eye to eye on every single thing football related. Like we have no problem, but like this idea that like you're a credible. What does that even mean? Like Jesse's going to go to camp is because Jesse isn't a credentialed beat writer. He's not a credible analyst compared to what you got in the circle. I'm give me a break. This is just I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. Didn't we? I thought they beat Wentz. Did they not beat him in Washington when he was in Washington last year? Or did that game not happen?
No.
So I don't remember.
He was with the Colts. He was with the Eagles when Ayuk made the big leap for the touchdown. Then he was with the Colts in the rain game against Jimmy that I was there for, and just and then the next year I
thought Washington.
Well, Heineke was the quarterback that year, and I think Wentz was.
Oh, Heineke played. Wentz came in late. Wentz came in late in the game. That's what it was. Possibly. They benched Heineke. Okay.
And I was at that game reason, too.
I was thinking, yeah.
So I was prepared to be in 2 years.
Yeah. You're like the number one Wednesday, and you just follow him wherever he goes, David. As long as he's playing the Niners, you're going to watch him play. Jeff, you're right. I mean, Wentz is one of those guys. It's funny because I had said that they should sign him to be the backup, and they ended up going with Darnold. Either way, I mean, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Purdy's the starter as long as he's healthy, but Wentz is a little bit better than Sam, at least. I'll say that.
I did think it was funny because we're going to switch to the next game here about Wentz. Is that I mean, Sean McVay using him as a literal battering ram, right? Like that, like this idea.
Yeah, he did.
It was. I mean, I got kudos, right? He's your backup. He's not your starter. So, but it was just like, I mean, I don't remember. We faced the Ravens. You faced these other I don't remember that as many design runs like through in between the tackles as I've seen it. They played Wentz all year, and he was getting his. He was taking some hits. And so, kudos to Carson Wentz, staying in the league,
doing his thing.
I think, if Stafford were to go down, he's a guy that can come in and be a more reliable backup than most.